AIO?
My BF, 35M, left our 1-year-old in their crib until 11:30 a.m. while I was at work. Did I overreact? My boyfriend, 35M, and I, 34F, work opposite schedules. 3 days a week, he stays home with our daughter while I'm at work, and 4 days a week, I stay with her. 2 of those days, I WFH. For some context, back in November, when our daughter was only 9 months old, I went to a football game with my family. As the game was ending, I tried calling him, but he didn't answer. I checked the baby cam and saw her crying hysterically in her crib. On top of that, there was a stuffed animal in her crib, which I read is a big no-no for babies under a year, something I've repeatedly told him not to do.
I then checked our living room camera and saw him passed out on the floor.
He had called off work that day and insisted on keeping our daughter instead of me just taking her with me to the game. It took over an hour to get home, and I watched the cameras the entire time, seeing her crying. When I got home, I woke him up, slapped him in the face, grabbed our daughter, and went to stay with my parents for the night. He claimed he was sick, though I suspected he was hungover. For weeks after that, he started calling off work at least once a week, making excuses, but I knew it was because he'd been staying up late, sometimes drinking 3 to 5 tall boys. I usually don't mind, but I noticed he wasn't feeding her the fruit I bought and was just giving her peanut butter and jelly while lying on the floor with her all day. I also noticed that she was getting rashes, which I told him he needed to put diaper rash cream on her and change her more often. Since he started calling off so much, I've been the one buying everything for the house. We also started couples therapy, but it only seemed to bring out all of my resentment. He claims the therapist sides with me because it's under my insurance. I decided to forgive him and try to work on things, but last week, while I was at work, I tried calling him, and he didn't answer.
His phone was dead.
I checked the cameras and saw he hadn't gotten up by 10:30 a.m. I looked in our daughter's room, and she was sitting up, whining but not crying. As soon as I saw this, I left work immediately, watching the camera on the way home.
I saw that he didn't get up to get her until 11:30 a.m.
When I watch her from home, she gets up around 8 or 8:30 a.m. He always claims she gets up with him around 10 a.m. I pulled into the driveway just as he was getting up with her, and I was livid. When he called me back, I was already walking into the house, and he greeted me with "Good morning, sweetie." I immediately started yelling, asking why the baby had been in the crib all morning, and fed, and unchanged. I told him it was neglectful and that if something like this happened again, I would call the police. He then started screaming at me, shouting in my ear while I was in the closet. We continued arguing in the living room, and I told him he needed to stop drinking and staying up late when he had to watch her the next day. He fired back, insulting me, saying my pussy smelled, talking bad